I think it was Michael Savage in the 90s that coined the phrase liberalism as a mental disorder, right? And it's really just been kind of a cliche or a catchphrase for a decade or two. But now I think we can really analyze this and understand it. And you just started to hit on it. And psychology has always been a big interest of mine. I studied it in college. And what we're dealing with here is this is the mental disorder now as modern day liberalism. I literally think they cannot attribute action to consequence. I mean, I literally think there's something wrong. It's like, if you're playing chess and you move the pawn and then the guy makes checkmate, it's like, oh, how did you do that? What? But it was like, they literally cannot think one step ahead. I literally think there's something wrong.
But I guess the challenge is it's not a disorder. It's just that some people don't have the ability to see as far as some people. And so a natural sorting algorithm occurs. Look, people are stupid, people are average, people are smart. What I think you end up seeing is, why is it that the Republican policies, and not all of them, because the Republican Party, I think, is very, placid and weak, but the discussion tends to be very, mature, serious. It's not always, because it's not absolute, I'm saying, but there's a lot of, look, I'd like to fund healthcare, but let's talk about where the money comes from. If we're going to fund this through this way, what do we get on the left? They just say, what do you mean? Just do it. Just do it. AOC says deficit spend. It's like they say, just spend the money. I'll give you an example. Up to your point, Owen, I was arguing with some socialists on Twitter because it's fun to do.
Yes.
And this was during like the 2020 primary or whatever. I was a big fan of Yang and Tulsi Gabbard. And I was arguing with a socialist, and we got to the discussion of, they wanted a socialist utopia. And I said, okay, let's start from the beginning. Where does food come from? Like the basic resource a human needs to survive. And they said the store.
Wasn't AOC on tape like, oh my gosh, it grows from the ground?
Did she? I don't know.
No, look that up. Cauliflower. She learned cauliflower grew from the ground. She didn't even know.
But I got two points to make on that one. But the first is, I said, no, food comes from farms, or like, I suppose theoretically you could, go pick in from the wild. But, he's like, what do you mean? It's at the store. The food's at the store. And I'm like, holy crap. Do you not know about the supply chain? They don't. No. And it's because some people are just not that smart, and they can't think, like you said, one step ahead. Mm-hmm. I'll give you a better example of someone who actually is smart, but doesn't know and lacks the knowledge. And that's Kyle Kalinske. He's a great guy. He's a good dude. I'm not trying to be mean to him, but he had that infamous tweet where he took a picture from a plane of farms and said, I wonder why it looks this way. He's an example of someone who does read, who does know a lot, but is missing key information and key facts. So when he sees a farm from overhead, he's like, how does this happen? And everyone's like, bro, those are farms. That's where food comes from. He's not a dumb guy. He just lacked this one detail, this one bit of information, but that's going to severely influence all of his voting patterns and policy positions. Yeah. That's the issue, I think. It's a combination of when I bring a Democrat in here and I say, here's a video of Joe Biden saying, you're not getting the $1 billion. They go, I've never seen that before. Because they're trapped in this CNN world and they can't see out of it. You then have other people who can't think one step beyond their actions. So I guess my point ultimately here is it's not a disorder necessarily. It's just that, I'm trying not to say they're just stupid, but what happens is if you get a group of politicians saying, vote for me, I'll give you free stuff, they go, wow, and they're going to vote for it.
They're first order thinkers.
Yes. And you go to a conservative and say, vote for me, I'll give you free stuff. They'll be like, from where? And they'll say, we'll just give you the money. From who? We can print it. And what's that going to do to inflation and my savings? They have questions to be asked about what the ramifications are going to be. Democrats tend not to, Republicans tend to, which then puts more inquisitive, less agreeable people are going to be on the right. Yep. There's going to be disorganization. There's going to be infighting. There's going to be challenges. And the left is going to become a collectivist mob of people who are like good thing versus bad thing.
Well, I'm all for a good spirited debate. In fact, I like that. They've banned all my videos from every social media platform. But I mean, really, that's what kind of got me my big first step in politics, was going out on the streets and talking to liberals, talking to Democrat voters, and realizing how ignorant that they actually are. People were stunned. It's like, hey, why don't you like Trump? They couldn't even answer the question.